Hello, CELTA trainees. How are you all? I'm back after my hiatus, a couple of months away. Very busy doing CELTA courses and teaching and all things related to ELT. So I've started my comeback with a new presentation. This one on what I hope and think will be kind of a popular video cast, and it's going to be on if it will appear for me now, concept checking questions. Something that maybe it's a new concept for many new trainees, and it's also something that people tend to struggle with for a while throughout the course and even into their teaching. So in this presentation, I'm going to look at what are some of the essentials of asking concept checking questions and making your concept checking questions a bit more effective, and we'll look at a framework for making the concept checking questions, and we'll also look at an example as well as some tips to round things off. So let's get straight into it, and let's think about this question. Do you understand? This is the question that many CELTA trainers try to forcibly remove from all CELTA trainees' teaching vocabulary. So what is a better way of finding out if a student has understood? Well, first of all, let's think about why is do you understand a bad question. I always give the example to my trainees. Think about the word measure. Just think for a second, what does it mean for you? Maybe you'd like to pause the video now. What does it mean for you? Okay, so many people would think it means to calculate a distance or a weight or something along those lines. But and in that sense, it's a verb. We can also consider it as a noun, the measure of a person's trustworthiness. In this sense, it's a little bit more idiomatic. Or even another sense that I was thinking about, consider this phrase: the new government measures to reduce crime, inner city crime, have been ineffective. In this sense, the meaning is quite different. So if I presented the word measure and I asked all my students, do you understand? And a lot of my students could have in their mind to measure a distance, whereas in my mind I'm thinking about the government measures. So we can see clearly that the question, do you understand, might not be the most effective way of going about things. So what are CCQs, concept checking questions? Well, they're a way to make students prove that they have understood. By asking questions, their responses will prove to you if they have understood what you want them to understand, what's necessary for them to have understood to successfully use the language for your lesson objective. Why do we use them? Well, to ensure that we have communicated what we want to the learner, not what we think they have understood. Oh, I have a little typo, 2 halves. Well, when do you ask them? Well, I suppose mainly we ask them after we've presented and clarified meaning, to ensure that it's further clarification of meaning. We can also use them as a correction technique. If a student uses a word incorrectly, we can ask some questions, and those questions will lead them to understanding. How many should you ask and why? Well, we should ask between 1 and 5. Why? If you find yourself asking less than 1, well, you're asking no concept checking questions. And therefore you're not getting the students to prove if they've understood. If you ask more than 5, you're probably not getting to the core meaning of the target language, and you're probably going to bamboozle your students. So try to keep it between 1 and 5, and we'll say a happy medium of, on average, around 3. So let's look at a framework for writing them. First of all, let's establish the meaning of the target language. So get that clear in your own head. Have it very clear what is the meaning of the target language. After that, we can describe it in about 3 statements. So describe the meaning in about 3 statements. Then we can transform these statements into questions. And these will be your concept checking questions. We also need to plan or anticipate the answers to the questions. By doing this, we can ensure that our questions are to the point and they convey the meaning. If we can consider a more ambiguous answer, then again our concept checking question might not be as effective as it needs to be. And finally, in block capitals and underlined here, don't use target language in your concept checking questions. When you think about it, imagine that you're learning a completely unknown language. Say Martians come to Earth and you're trying to learn Martian. If they use Martian to check the Martian language, well, you don't understand Martian, so how could you answer the question? So it might seem a little bit of a challenge in the beginning, but try always to avoid using the target language in your concept checking question. So if you're concept checking the past simple, don't use past simple questions to check the meaning. So let's look at an example of some CCQs. So let's take some target language. He used to play football. My target language here is used to. Used to plus base infinitive of the verb form. So statement number 1, he doesn't play football now. Statement number 2, he played football in the past. And statement number 3, he played football many times in the past. So let's transform that. Statement number 1, he doesn't play football now. Does he play football now? The answer, simply no. Statement number 2, he played football in the past. Did he play football in the past? Yes. And statement number 3, he played football many times in the past. Concept checking question, did he play football many times or often in the past? Yes, he did. So very simply put, I've described it in 3 statements. I haven't used my target language, used to. I have used the past form here, but I haven't used my target language, used to describe my statements and transform into concept checking questions. So let's look at some more tips for concept checking questions. So break down the concept of the item into a series of statements of meaning. A dictionary may be helpful if the item is a piece of vocabulary. Just take the definition from the dictionary. The Cambridge Online Dictionary is a very easily accessible source for this. If it's a grammar question, consult a grammar book, preferably a teacher grammar book. From your own point of view. If you find that the meta language or the language used to describe the grammar needs to be graded, you can do that yourself, or you could also consult a student's, a learner's grammar book to help you with that. Make sure the statements of meaning are expressed in simple language. So usually our target language is language +1, so a little bit beyond what the learners have already. Try to keep your concept checkings at, let's call it language, their level, or even maybe language minus a little bit, minus a half. Keep it well graded. You don't want to challenge the learners with your concept checking questions, you want to challenge them with your target language. Turn the statements into questions. The questions should be concise and simple, so no long meandering questions that might serve to confuse the student or have ambiguous answers. The language you use must be similar than the language you're checking. Sorry, just to go back on that number 5, when I say simpler, you should try to ensure that the students have this language already. So if I'm checking used to, it's okay to use past simple because it's quite common to treat past simple before you move on to used to. Number 6 then, the questions should not use the language you're checking. Sort the questions into a logical order. Again, so in my previous example, I didn't start with did he play many times in the past, because that's kind of the key. I want to establish that it's not true now, so then we can establish that it's in the past. Not now equals the past or the future, but in my second question, establish that it was in the past, and then the key point was held off to the last. We can think about that as well. A logical order as well could be very easy, a little bit more difficult, and the most difficult question until the last. Write down the correct answers you expect the learners to give. Again, as I said before, this will help you establish whether your questions are going to be effective or not. The answers should be short and simple, usually yes/no answers, but depending on the level, they could be a little bit more elaborate. But kind of yes/no, black/white, up/down, in/out kind of questions are best suited for checking concepts. If they answer incorrectly, state the correct answer and provide clarification. Even by the student providing the incorrect answer, that's not a problem. By them providing the incorrect answer, well then there's only one other alternative if your question is well designed. So even by getting it wrong, it means that they will understand the correct meaning. Okay, so just a short video, but thank you very much for watching. As usual, you can contact me on my email, fergusteacher@gmail.com. I'm on Skype, fergusteacher. I have a Google Plus community, so if you're not if you don't have a Google account already, I suggest you getting one. Set up your Google Plus account and then search the community section for CELTA Essentials. I have a growing community there of both past and present, and you never know, maybe even potential CELTA trainees who are actively involved in an online discussion about many of the themes that appear on the CELTA course. I also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/FergusTeacher, and I have a blog as well, blogspot.fergusteacher, where I write more or less every month or 2 months about it's mainly dedicated to using technology and collaboration in the classroom, so you might find some interesting and useful articles there. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to hear from you either here on YouTube or on the Google Plus community. Thanks. Bye.